When I was a boy, everybody knew what a downwinder was. We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person.
Comrades.
He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Gate 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Gate 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen. It will never happen. We cannot have a meltdown.
Well, good morning, comrades. Hope you can get out of your dogma snuggies for 1 hour. I know you're branded left or right. The whole country's locked in. You've been hypnotized. You can't have a logical conversation with anybody. And I've come to the conclusion alternative media is worse than regular media, and that's bad. How can you possibly get worse than media? Regular media. Alternative media has done it. They're hardcore branded, dogmatic, left pill, right pill, gone. So I got some really amazing information. I hope some of you guys are out there that can record pieces of this, because this is information that nobody ever in the world knows. There's a lot going on. I have an incredible army, so, it's been Memorial Weekend. So, my family's in town, because the old historic graveyard's down there, so I get to see family members that, because, they move all over the world and all over the country, but they always come home to be buried there. So they show up. So I've been able to have conversations. My uncle's here, the retired high brass from the Pentagon, the fighter pilot. He's an amazing dude, brilliant. So I've been able to talk to him for a long time. So I spent the afternoon with him yesterday, and I picked his brain on, he had top clearance. He had number one top clearance at the Pentagon. His office was the Pentagon for years. And this is a guy that later in life told him to fuck off. Really decorated fighter pilot. And, amazing dude. So I picked his brain, and he says, I did a lot of work on your dad's case when I was at the Pentagon. I was outraged. So he says, I dug, and he dug. And he says, I'll tell you things. And he says, I saw things that no one will ever see. So he says, he was drafted. He says, the Marine, Pendleton, the very first group, not one blast, but both blasts. They took him out there, and this isn't the support group. You see the video and the pictures that are way back away. No, right at the blast. Anyway, killed hundreds of them right at the blast. Killed them, dead, in the blast. He said he saw photographs at the top surveying. He says, no one will ever see. And this guy is the most credible guy in the world. He says, I saw photographs of United States Marines by the hundreds in cages like animals. And I'm like, what the fuck? He says, what they did, he says, the ones they didn't kill, and he says, they didn't want the Marines to retaliate because it's no man left behind. And that's what the Marines are. I mean, the Marines are a family. No, I mean, that is their creed. Their code is branded. No man left behind. So they didn't want other Marines, the ones that survived the blast, saving Marines and, you know, getting them, because what they did, the ones that didn't die and the ones after the, you know, were in the cage, left, that didn't, ended up in hospitals in San Diego, not in military hospitals, in hospitals all over Southern California. Well, doctors talk, nurses talk, you know, and so they had a big sign. And I've seen photos of the sign. I've actually seen all this. Loose lips sink ships all over in the Nevada test site when they were blasting this. Mums of the bird, secrecy, secrecy, secrecy. So he said hundreds of Marines dying. Hardcore, just like at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, as they were struggling to live and fight. Burns all over them. Just a horrible, horrific, he says, in cages like fucking animals. Nobody knows this. This is information no one has but me, because I got from him. Like I said, he had very top clearance. I mean, this is the United States. This is our country. This is who we are. Who made that decision? S. Truman, Eugene McCarthy, the United States Congress, Edward Teller, Cal Berkeley. I mean, this is the country that we live in. And, you know, you wrap yourself up on the flag. Yeehaw, yeehaw. Well, you know, they're heroes. No, they're not. They're victims. You know, there's some high brass up there that are sociopath, psycho fucking killers, like General Petraeus at Crystal. That was proven by Michael Hastings. Remember, Michael Hastings was a vet. Michael Hastings' wife was killed. You've seen how they did him. We know how they do the vets. Come on, we can go all the way back. We know how they do vets. I volunteer. I have my whole life. I've been involved with volunteer at the VA because that's where I grew up as a boy. I grew up in that VA hospital. My dad in there, all fucked up. I mean, because they fed him LSD. They fucked him all up. I mean, my dad came out of it slowly. Was an incredible specimen. Of course, died of leukemia, which they all did. And somebody said to me the other day, there's this, we don't know the exact number. The fuck we don't. I know the exact number, and so does the United States military. I've seen all the documents. They're out there. The United States' work that they have is, I mean, it's there. It's right there in your face. You know, but people are in denial because, again, they've been branded in their dogma. Hardcore branded in their dogma. People are so branded. I get comments on my videos now. If I start to talk about Obama, going after Obama, they'll automatically jump and think that I'm a Republican. What? I would vote for a fucking Republican if someone put a gun to my head after what Bush and fucking Cheney and these madmen. None of them. I hate those creepy pieces of shit. Left, Democrat, I wouldn't vote for a fucking Democrat if you put a gun to my fucking head right now. What they've fucking done? Fukushima. No, fuck them both. So this is the dogma. People automatically have picked a side. You know, they'll get on a motorcycle, they'll get tattoos, and we're going to go freaking ride for veterans. Veterans, I mean, that's the only thing Bush, I think, ever said right. Is like that draft dodging scumbag, weasel, big piece of shit. Dumb, Dick Cheney's bitch on a leash. I think the only thing he said right, he says, this is a volunteer army. Which it is. But let's send our jobs to China. Let's compete with slaves in Indonesia. You know, here you are, Barack Obama somehow, and you believe these polls that the approval rating, his approval rating is plus 7 or 8, 9%. You really are a dumb hoofucker. These polls are totally fixed, totally rigged at the presidential level. So I can guarantee it. Now, here's how it's going to work. Presidential politics works like this. Very simple. These presidents are picked long before. The game is 100% locked in and rigged through each district, through each county, through each state. What do we got? A few swing states. The swing states, they've got the demographic on the county by county by county so branded these presidential races are decided long before, so they'll tighten up the polls. They'll tighten up the polls so the CIA network televisions, which is CNN, which is already admitted they are, they come out, Fox News running right out of the House of Windsor. These are freaking total CIA, House of Windsor, royal freaking, I like how you call them elites. There ain't nothing elite about these creepy bastards. So they run the narrative. They keep it tight to create political theater because they make a lot of money off the goats. These debates make a lot of money. Advertising dollars, whatever, and says they loot. They know what the final outcome's going to be. Hillary will win the exact freaking number that Obama won, to the T. So here you got Trump. He's the counterculturist. He's the internet freaking guy. He blows up the RNC, goes after everybody. Then as soon as he gets the nominee, jumps right in bed with the same old people, the same old GOP. He's going to expose 9/11. Sure he is. Just like he stood in freaking Jersey and seen all these Muslims cheering. He's a fucking liar. And then who does he throw in? Dick Cheney. Who's he throwing? Sarah Palin? I mean, you cannot win with that demographic. He's alienated. Look, it's the same old thing. He's working for the Clintons. There's no doubt in my mind he's for the machine. And you go through his balance sheet. I went through his balance sheet when they released it. He's not rich. His balance sheet, 99.9% of his balance sheet is fairy tale fantasy island real estate bubble. Just like yours is, just like mine is, just like everybody's is. Our own personal Ponzi schemes have been invented by a 0% interest rate for 15 years. You went back in any point in time. I used to love Senator Jim Bunning when he would go off, on this 0%. You go back all the way to the beginning in the history, man. You go back pre-flower exchange, and you told somebody you had a freaking military industrialist complex reeling debt with a 0% interest rate for 15 years. With a negative interest rate, they would say, you're done, you're doomed, you're going to enslave your people. Our island, our nuclear island, we tried that experiment with Japan, remember? Japan's taking over the world in the early 80s. The Nikkei peaked at 36,000 in 1986. What is it now? 30 years later. They've had a negative interest rate for decades. They have a declining population. They have a cancer epidemic from freaking hell. I mean, their populace is almost sterilized. The young people, they say, don't even have sex over there. No, nobody has children. Well, that's what nuclear island does to you. That's what nuclear contamination for, 71 years. Hardcore. It never ended. Hiroshima and Nagasaki never ended. Let's just build more nuclear. Meltdown after meltdown after meltdown. Fukushima had a partial meltdown on April 10th, I believe, in 79. So they've just radiated the place. The cover-up of Fukushima, they pulled it off. I thought, no way. This isn't my act. This isn't Chernobyl. We have YouTube. But who covered up Fukushima? Let me tell you who covered up Fukushima. Was it the CIA? Was it nuclear cartel and their mainstream media? Nope. They didn't pull it off. The fake activists, the fake YouTuber, the Jim Stones, the Helen Caldicott, the Chris Busby is responsible for the cover-up more than anyone. Chris Busby is the cover-up. Look, so they claim they're anti-nukers, these softball activists who are worthless. They're beyond worthless, they're counterproductive. So the so-called alternative media runs to them. They won't touch a guy like me or Dunford with a 10-foot pole. So they go to him. Who does RT run to? So they finally get the field. That's all we've ever asked. We want a big platform. They're not about to touch anybody who really is an activist, who really knows the score. So they get the field. So Busby's an anti-nuker. He stands on RT over and over and says, he said it. The Pacific Ocean is a big place. It will dilute. Now, I want to give all you activists out there and everybody Nuclear 101. This is from your 7th grade. This is 101. Your first college course, your first high school course, your first junior high science course. anybody who ever uses the term on nuclear fallout and dilution are total 100% frauds. 100% fraud. Not only does it not dilute, it grows. It's bioaccumulative. He said it. He said sorry about that. Bad signal. So, the alternative media has slaughtered us. Now, I've been interviewed by RT multiple times. And RT's really Russians. And they do a lot of good work. And when it gets right down to the dirt and the nitty-gritty, they run right to the panty painters. So they play. So who really are they? Do you know how radiated Russia is? Well, that whole region. So now it comes out yesterday, this is RT reporting this, that Russia and Ukraine have a contract among each other to store their spent fuel and enrich their uranium. Of course, they're gone broke. The United States has a proxy war going on. There's a full-blown out war going on in Ukraine. American freaking CIA advisors, military advice, sound familiar? That place is a slaughter zone. It's a nuclear hellhole. MIAC, who the IAEA ranks as a 6. Don't you love it how they set the scale? I mean, you think about that. I want you to really think about this. So, in the inception, the IAEA sets a scale of nuclear disasters from 1 to 7. That's malice from inception. Fraud from, the whole thing's been fraud from day one. Who sets a scale? They call it a 6, which is a 7. Ongoing, that place is so radioactive. Their leukemia, their cancer rate in that whole region is so off the hook. It's incredible. I mean, off the hook. The longevity rate of people in that region is maybe 50 years. They have slaughtered Russia. They have slaughtered the Ukraine with nuclearism. Accident after accident. Chernobyl. The place is so radiated, so hot. So, in 2014, we reported that in the Ukraine, some activists over there, just people caught on YouTube, a mushroom cloud blowing. It was a major explosion. It blew just like a mushroom cloud. And we hypothesized that it was a nuclear waste dump site, like MIAC, a plutonium dump site. Everybody says, bullshit. So now we know that it was. The reindeer in Norway. They call themselves the last true indigenous people on Earth. That is the mainstay of the Norwegian diet. After Chernobyl, they got hammered. So they're very militant in Norway on their food chain. They monitor their food all over Europe. They're very militant. I mean, the opposite of the United States. The food is so contaminated here in the United States that no one cares. That's why we all die. We're dying younger and younger and younger and younger. So they monitor those reindeer. They actually let them put just a little bit higher than every other food because they know it's their life. So they know what the numbers are, and they monitor them heavy. They blood test them heavy. It's a big-time operation by the Norwegian government. So it's sitting there from Chernobyl, steady for thousands and thousands of years. It might trickle a hair down here, but it ain't going nowhere. They know what the number is. 2014, it's off the hook. Off the hook. So they retest again. off the hook. Retest again off the hook, so they know there's been an event somewhere. The event was in Ukraine. The event was that militia dump being blown. There's a full-blown out war going in Ukraine. The United States and Russia are freaking fighting over, I don't even know what they're fighting over. There's nothing really to fight left over there. Maybe some oil fields, some plutonium dumps, maybe, I don't know. They're just fighting to fight. You are the military-industrial complex, you know. It's a chess game. It's a board game. You know, if the czars, they're all this, no, the czars are back. Putin's a czar. I mean, I love it. I love it. I can prove again how the alternative media just absolutely slaughtered you. Lunatic freak CIA rats like Michael Savage, Bill Hicks, all of them. In the 80s and 90s, started to call the oldest thing in the world, which is a monarchy and a world system, they started to call it New World Order. When there's nothing new about it. It's just, plain history, right in your face, the Revolutionary War, all of it, right in your face. What's new about it? They were paid to call it new. Up is down, black is white. That's how they play. That's how the CIA works. That's how these globals... Edward Snowden says it perfectly. He says it like this. He admits he come from a CIA family. It's all bloodlines now. Military, everything's bloodlines now. Everything. It's all captured through bloodlines. That's what we fought in this country against. Monarchies work through bloodlines. You're born into a caste system. This is a caste system. You could maybe get a serfdom job with the government, mom or dad, whatever. So Snowden, who admits his mom and dad are CIA. He's CIA. Admits. So he's got surveillance clearance all the way to the top. He says it plainly. It's not there to look for terrorists. It's been proven over and over. None of these terrorists, they didn't have encrypted phones. All these events that happened, they didn't have encrypted phones. He says it's there by the freaking so-called global elites, which is monarchs, royal families, the same old players through bloodlines, to control the masses. Now, here in Utah, the Mormon Church is 100% CIA. What do you think NSA is there? They're 100% because, really, think about it. What's the easiest demographic of populace to control? Religious groups. So you just get a hold of the religious leaders at the top, you buy them, you got control. Look, the Mormon Church owns all the media here, all of it. You should see the media. You should KSL, which used to be a highly respected. They're pathetic. It's fear, police mongering. It's fear, police control. Honoring cops, honoring police. When we have cops murder people constantly here, that's all it is. It's ISIS. It's, waving flags, these hero police. Stand up for police. Bow, kiss their feet. Rub their feet for police. They're law enforcement. Stand up and put your heart over the flag for police. And military. It's all nation building. It's all flag waving, which isn't nation building. It's all repression. It's all control. Snowden's words. Snowden's. It's true. Michael Hastings' words. It's true. Chelsea Manning's words. Bradley Manning. Julian Assange. So Uncle Tom Holdren comes out the weakest, no good, rottenest attorney general in the United States. He never prosecuted anyone. When Obama got elected to go after the war criminals, to go after this, that, the other thing, carte blanche. He never went after anybody. He gave him an open check, just keep doing it. Status quo. He comes up and makes a statement, well, maybe Snowden did some kind of, service open the debate, but he needs to be prosecuted. Snowden says it over and over and over. I want to come home and stand trial. But they have, again, Patriot Act on Balco, they have the tribunal courts, the secret courts that they will try him in, which you got no shot. He knows that. He says, just put me in a regular courtroom under what the Constitution says. Once the Constitution's gone. It's like, well, democracy. We've never been a democracy. The United States is a republic with a Constitution. The Patriot Act got rid of the Constitution. There's no Constitution. You have no civil liberties. You have zero. You have no attorneys. You got, these attorneys are the biggest pussies in the fucking world. Unless they can see a torch slam dunk on some kind of bullshit where they can take 80% of it for doing nothing, they ain't touching it. I mean, proves it. Look at the USS Reagan. You don't think that the court's tagged? Look at the USS Reagan case. How long ago did they file that case? Janet, who I don't know what she's up to, but they've gotten to her. She's as corrupt as they get now. I thought we had hope with her, the 9th District judge. So she rules that they ruled. They filed the motion in the 9th District. It's been meandering for years. Finally, August 25th, 2014, they finally get it into the courtroom. She rules, it takes her a month and a half to even rule, that, yeah, it goes forward against General Electric. That was a ruling. It goes forward against TEPCO. So General Electric's busting up and liquidating stuff illegal under global international law, just like Apple, just like Google, just like everybody's ran to Ireland because there's no tax. So they're American in name only. So you have American so-called corporations, Apple, Google, GM, Caterpillar. You go every list of every one of them. They don't employ anybody here. They gutted our labor forces, sent them to slavery complexes. They do not participate in our country, yet they use our roads, they use our infrastructure, they use our universities, which are all public now, to get their workforce, whatever, and they put nothing back. They refuse to pay taxes. They backdoor the loopholes, they park it in Ireland, and they pay no taxes. They build their giant servers and cooler systems in Ireland. No taxes. Yet, anytime they want free money on the negative interest, they just run to the Fed window and hold their hand out, and this idiot fool complex, America, these are jobs. No, they're not. There's no jobs here. You're serving coffee. That's what you do, or you work for the government. They gutted the construction industry. They gutted all the fucking trades. They're gone. You know, and everybody, look at the freaking unemployment rate. Unemployment rate is meaningless, totally meaningless. They've hijacked that number. How? In order to be counted on unemployment, you have to actively be seeking unemployment. So how long can you seek unemployment? You guys went off unemployment a long time ago. They're freaking all dead. So look at the participation rates, the lowest in the history of the United States. That's people that are actually working. Look at the cash economy. So the cash economy in the United States is much bigger. That's slavery. It's pure slavery. So you have 50 million so-called illegal Mexicans in this country, so-called 50 million. They'll say 11. There's 50 million. Not to mention, there's a lot of illegal Irish in this country. There's a lot of they come here and they don't stay. They just stay. They're being paid cash. They work in the cash economy. And even places like New York City. You go to New York City, you go to the restaurants, you go anywhere. Look at the signs everywhere. Cash only. Trump talks tariffs. Trump talks freaking, going to deport all these Mexicans. Every time he gets checked, his hats, his gear, made in Bangladesh, slavery. Suit, made in China, slavery. So he talks one thing, does another. So that's the liar he is, but that's what all politicians. And then you got Hillary. Are you kidding? So Westinghouse. Hillary Westinghouse Clinton. Westinghouse was bought by Toshiba right about when Fukushima happened. They still run under the mantra of Westinghouse. Why did they do that? To backdoor American law, like all other corporations. So Westinghouse now has announced today they're building their new 6 nuclear plants in India. But people don't know what's going on in India. Nuclear supplies, full-blown out war. Hundreds of thousands of activists in the streets, millions of activists. There have been 84 anti-nuclear scientists and activists. Well, that was as of a year ago right now. Last one was killed when I was in Europe. I mean, they just murder them. The United States, nuclear cartel, the Department of Energy who runs this world, just murder them. Just like they did Karen Silkwood. I mean, this is nothing new. They kill activists. Obama's responsible. I like it. So Obama, people are saying, well, yeah, Obama went to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. No, he didn't. That was freaking all Caroline Kennedy's orchestration. And people buy into this thesis. Barack Obama's the most pro-nuclear freaking president in history. He's more pro-nuclear. He's the opposite of John Kennedy. Not my words, Caroline's words. John Kennedy's the only one who stood up this military industrialized madness. So the nuclear took the field. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Human lab ratting their own Marines. That they gave me leukemia. Now I want people to know these early Marines that they went in and did that to. None of them got a fucking medal. None of them got 5 cents. None of them got nothing. They burned all their freaking records. They deny any of them were even in. I mean, they'll say, yeah, he was in the Marines, but we don't have anything. It's just gone. Top secret. They know for a fact that they gave all their children diseases. They knew when they did it. I've seen the documentation at Berkeley. Both Oppenheimers. Everybody advised them not to do this to their own Marines, but tell her, yeah, they were gung-ho, just like dropping the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where none of them flexed their dick at Russia. They knew that Russia had it. They knew that Russia had the bomb. Stalin had it. That was the deal negotiated at Yalta by the Sea. We take Eastern Europe, you take Japan. We split Germany down the middle. No royals. You're done, Churchill. You freaking royals, the royal family's over in England. I will quote Franklin Roosevelt Jr. out of his book. He was a little boy. He used to hang around with his dad and drunk alcoholic Churchill. In the White House, I believe that Franklin Jr. was 10 or 11. I got to tell you, Winston, royals are done. The royal family's over. No royals. We're going to develop what we call the Atlantic Conference. There'll be no monarchies left on Earth. The ones that haven't been murdered and slaughtered and killed and dead, they're done. No monarchies. Well, I got to tell you, FDR, that flies right in the face of Mother England. It flies right in the face of everything we... FDR, yeah. Fucking rights it does. I got to tell you, he says, that is the fundamental foundation of this country, Alexander Hamilton, George Washington. He says, we stood up to the monarchs. He says, I got to tell you, I went to London when I was an 11-year-old boy. I saw Queen Victoria. I got to tell you, I hated the old ones. There's nothing more quintessentially American than hate the royal families. You're done. Churchill's choking on a cigar. He says, well, I know one thing. He says, everything you say and everything you guys are doing is flying right in the face, but if we don't play ball with you and don't go along, England's done. He said it. He admitted it right there. We're going to play long ball. We go along. Now, how is it possible Wallace is VP for 3 terms? 12 years. Going in 13th year. The convention, they find this freaking rat, this nuclear Russell's baby freaking rat, this dumbest puppet who ever lived until Obama came along. W, dumb puppet. Obama, even dumber puppet. I mean, do you think that's possible? Truman, oh my God. Just look at his wife. I mean, the whole scene. Where did they find this freak? They push Wallace out. He becomes their guy. He just yes man for Teller. They find Teller. They push Oppenheimer out. They push all the peace acts. They push Einstein out. Teller, that freaking Hungarian madman. He didn't care. He said at the end of his life, I don't care how many people I mass murdered. I don't care how many people I raped. I don't care. Just so I help stop them fucking Russians. How bad he hated them. Let's see, born and raised in Budapest? Huh, wonder why. Been fighting each other for how long? Several thousand years. I mean, dogma, branded, gone. So the country's gone. Look, I mean, everybody thinks that this place is so wound up and so great. Longest work weeks. Oh, you got a car. You can go back in your shiny coffin in a circle. You get on these fucking freeways and this insanity. They go on these circles. They've got everybody so fucking grotesquely impoverished. They got the food chain poisoned, totally poisoned. You know, and the far radical right. You look at them. So, Republican Congress and Senate. Okay, Ted Nugent is very implemented of them. I mean, dumber than fucking dirt, but they're so branded dogmen and they're proud of their arrogance. And the left's just as bad. So, on the right, these lunatics, they got their gun going to save everything when the gun also going to do is kill. They ain't going to do anything. Can't use it, can't pull it, can't do nothing. They'll sell it to you. They'll sell you bullets. You know, all their answers are gold. Queen owns all the gold, all the silver. They'll sell it to you. I mean, I remember guys gung-ho when I shorted silver at 47. Geeked up, it's going to hundreds. I'm like, selling their Dow at 7,000. What's the Dow, 18,000? I mean, they just slaughtered them. Just slaughtered them. Just mass murdered, killed them. So, just beat the hell out of you. Look, I remember when I showed gold at 1900, I had bets all over. That's everywhere. The gold was going under 13, 14, 1500 when they were sure it was going to 3, 4, 5,000. Of course, nobody's going to. But I did. You know, I had sure that's what paid for my stay in the bone marrow transplant center. My short gold, my shorting silver, my buying Tesla. And I bought Tesla because I thought it was a great alternative. I believed in it. I bought Tesla at $7, $6, $8 a share, $10 a share. You know, I made a lot of millionaires. But the dogma. So it's like Prince. Oh, he's nothing but a drug addict. And Ted Nugent running his mouth. Gene Simmons running his mouth. But autopsy's not out. It's not out. His own chef said he talked to him for months. Said he was having trouble digesting food. Something was wrong. That's not an opiate addiction. Something's wrong with it, just like me. Something wrong with the industrial tract. He was sick. It was obviously sick. It was some kind of slow sickness. My guess it was cancer. I still believe it was cancer, and I still believe the autopsy is going to say that. So they said, oh, he was addicted to opiums. Well, the same people that say that are addicted to opiums, but you got it from a prescription. You pulled up through a drive-up window and picked up your prescription. The whole country's whacked on him. The whole country's freaking gone on him. Look it up. Look up what the freaking average American's taking into their body a day through prescription meds. I mean, you think about this insane, freaking, crazed, freaking world complex. So the Republican Party, they say 65% of Republicans say they voted for Trump because they felt betrayed. And now that Trump's starting to betray them again, I mean, what the fuck do they do? Democrats haven't had enough betrayal yet. They're too dumb and gone. The Clinton, Obama, I mean, Obama's the biggest betrayer who ever walked, by far. You think about Obama, what he ran on. Think how far people fought. Think about all the lies he told. Caroline calls him, she says she can't even stand the sound of his voice, such a liar. He's the biggest liar ever sat in the White House. That's saying a lot. Okay, let's go right again. Everything that he said he was going to do. He did the opposite of it all. He has killed more whistleblowers, jailed more whistleblowers. Transparent, he's the most untransparent. And simply, his crowning jewel, Fukushima. Think about Porter Ranch, how long ago. Think about, okay, so BP happens. David wanted to bomb a ship. He bowed to BP, which you're talking the biggest globalist royals in the history of mankind. Which, by the way, against American freaking antitrust law, has merged with Shell Oil. Oh, but they're globalists. They're not American companies. Well, they should. Yes, they are. They are American companies. You have gas stations. You have freaking businesses. You set up in there. You're an American company. I mean, they don't enforce. Antitrust law exists. We don't enforce any antitrust. Like Ben, back to Hogan. That rat never freaking prosecuted anybody. I mean, he was just a yes man. That's the greatest Uncle Tom in human history. Piece of dog shit. So they don't. BP, he lets them seal off public beaches. British Petroleum, private security sealed off public beaches to protect them. They're burning mammals all over the Gulf, spraying illegal disbursement for months, and he let it go on. He just slaughtered those people. Slaughtered them. Obama, he didn't care. He was all for it. He's just bowing to the globalist freaking whatever they tell him. This guy's the dumbest puppet in history. Oh, he's dumb. Real dumb. I mean, this guy's dumb. And we thought he was all smart and all geeked up and gave these speeches and everything. Dumbest, maybe the dumbest president in the U.S. I mean, he ranks right there with Bill. You can prove it. Look up, just Google. President Obama does not know what Hanford is. Google it. This guy propped up by Exxon. He's propped up by the nuclear industry. He's so stupid he doesn't even know who's propping him up. Again, not my words, Caroline Kennedy's. Her dad's the only guy who ever stood up to these freaking mad nuclear rats. These mad freaking military nuclear slaughter. I mean, these far right. I mean, they want to nuke everybody. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine a nuclear exchange? Oh my God! Which we got one going on anyway. It's called Fukushima. So then, what about Porter Ranch? How long did he let that go on? He call in the military. He call in the fix. Nope. What about Flint, Michigan? I love it how everybody's going to take the fall and everybody's going to go down, except for the President of the United States, the head of the EPA, Gina McCarthy, who threatened that. She doesn't take any fall. Well, what are they there for? So Truman on his desk had the plaque. Remember the plaque? The buck stops here. With Obama, the buck stops where? He flew to Michigan years later and drinks some fake water, just like he went to Japan and ate fake sushi. Then here's crowning jewel, Fukushima. He followed the nuclear cartels, he was the best puppet they've ever had. Okay, Obama, you walk out on the Rose Garden. Someone's getting ready to go over. So, okay, first off, you need to advise Gina McCarthy, head of RadNet, to crash RadNet. Take down. This is the radiation detector. We have dishes all over the country that we build up big time. Immediately, as soon as Fukushima happened, they took it down. They crashed it all. Okay, Obama, you need to go out on the White House lawn and say, the United States has the right, public has the right to know what I know. That's what he said. They have the right to know what I know. That day, he flies out with Secretary Chu. Check out that dude's wife. You want to talk? I mean, we're talking murderers. So he flies out with him, the CEO of General Electric, the CEO of Halliburton, the CEO of what? To Brazil, the biggest entourage to orchestrate, to listen to his commands. He crashes RadNet. He just says everything they say. He tells the Navy, after the Navy has sent 32 ships in to entomb Fukushima, they sent them in. You can read the FOIA documents, prove everything that I said in the early days. The FOIA documents that I said in the early days, before there was any FOIA documents, that the Admiral had sent them in. And so the Admiral, he stuck to it. Not only did he want all military personnel evacuated off the island of Japan, he wanted all civilians, and they were sent into entomb. They sent their mitigation ship to all of them. Barack Obama, listening to his owners, the nuclear cartel, John Holdren, the eugenics fucking creep from one of the creepiest human beings ever walked, head of the science and technology team from the Berkeley fucking mass murder and slaughter you fucking hijacked agricultural college, says no. Gregory Jacko will admit to this. Nope. We can handle it. We're already over there. Now the FOIA documents are talking, we ship people over there. Now just what I said, FOIA documents are coming out now, John Holdren to Hillary people. Everybody says, well, it wasn't Hillary per se who wrote them. Of course it wasn't. Who didn't wipe her own ass? We're talking the United States State Department. You know, Hama wrote a lot of them, believe it or not. Wiener Boy's wife. So, being Abel on Balco. So, the emails now say that number 4 was completely blown up and on fire day 1. That's Holdren's words. So he's advising, saying, we got to justify our billions of dollars, and he's a eugenicist, remember. We can handle this. Obama doesn't know a hydrogen bomb from a nuclear bomb. Obama's so stupid, financially, he didn't know an arbitrage from a fucking derivative. I mean, he was fucking greener than grass, dumber than fucking dirt. He doesn't know. Look it up. 2008, one of our group asked him about Hanford. Now think about this. It's propped up by the nuclear. He didn't even know what Hanford was. He didn't know what the Manhattan Project was. Now think about that. This is how poorly educated this guy is. This guy dumber, living in his car, snorting cocaine, smoking weed in L.A. That's his own book. Abused by the freaking stepfather in Indonesia, and now he's TPP, all for slavery in India. Look it up. Read his own book. Read his own fucking book. These are his words. Lost. Fucking identity crisis. Fucking totally fucking gone. This is his own words. Greener than grass. So, yes, master. Yes, master. By the way, he's not black. What a disgrace, Uncle Tom to even call him Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was trying to survive and save his life. This guy is just a yes man. He's a puppet. The greatest puppet in human history. So they tell him, stand down, okay, whatever. You have a conversation about Fukushima, he won't have a clue. All he wants to do is hang around the White House. He thinks he's going to be the next celebrity. You look at it. Look when he has his parties. Look who he invites that shows up to the fucking White House. By the way, Prince was at the White House a few months back. So, how Jay-Z's coming. Oh, and then there's Sanjay Gupta. He's the other celebrity, the media stars, the CIA media stars, the fact the neurosurgeon who's in Fukushima when it happened. That's all he thinks. He thinks he's a celebrity. I like it how he told everybody he was an athlete. Michelle's brother, who played at Princeton, who can play, and he covers for him. So remember, they secretly would go into the gym and he was playing. There was never no video of him actually playing. And, he was on a junior high team in Hawaii because of his height, whatever. The guy can't walk and chew gum. So then he goes out in his mom jeans and throws out the first pitch, I believe, at the White Sox games, and then we got it exposed. This guy, he couldn't even throw a baseball 3 feet. The guy's the most unathletic freaking guy in history. This guy can't walk and chew gum. Let alone make a jump shot. Pathetic. The guy's a total fraud. Yes, man, fraud, and thinks he's going to be a celebrity. You watch him. All he does is get caught up. He sits around and watches Sports Center, and he's like enamored with these professional celebrity athletes. Look, you're going to be the next King James. He's the celebrity. And now we got Kamala Harris in California doing the same thing, drops the ball on the prosecution of Pickett and TV and Cherry and the rats on San Onofre. So he just does everything they tell him to do. Now, finally, Caroline Kennedy stood up to him. That was Caroline who orchestrated that in honor of her father, the great anti-nuclear activist her father was. The only man who ever stood up to him. The only man who ever stood up to the nuclear freaking rats. Now remember, Barack Obama, this is what a puppet is. It's against the law to do underground tests, right? H. Bush signed that into law. W. tried to bring not only underground, he tried to bring above ground ones, because the nuclear puppets are telling him what to do. Did you know Obama, right after he got reelected in 2012, did an underground test? That's right. Against the law. He did it. You don't give a fuck about the law. So at Oak Ridge, Megan Rice breaks in to protest that against international law, against federal law, Barack Obama's violating the law. The law says not only we cannot be making more nuclear bombs, we have to be in good faith be getting rid of them. Gorbachev, Reagan, so he's violating law. She breaks in, the most guarded place on the face of the earth, more plutonium there, freaking enough to kill the freaking world a billion times over. There's no security. Barack Obama not only does not defend her, Barack Obama is in on the gig. They're saying, well, we got to get rid of her. We got to kill her. Now, remember, this is an 85-year-old nun, the daughter of Dr. Rice, the famous professor, the daughter of one of the greatest, who I knew personally, Megan Rice, one of the greatest freaking activists in human history, that genius, brilliant woman that she was. I met her in the Valtessa protesting with Hanukkah, the feminine girl. They put her in a holding cell against due process. They had the trial, they convict her, they won't sentence her. They put her in a holding cell, they keep the temperature at 50-something degrees. I talked to her own nieces, Megan Jr. I talked to them. I was at the trial with them. I was at the freaking potluck the night before with them. I was in the airport with her family. By the way, I will tell you right now, this is out of their own words. They were appalled and disgusted. All these so-called anti-nuclear activists who wrote books or all over. This is Megan Jr. And she's a very sophisticated freaking woman, her niece. Very sophisticated, Upper East Side, amazing. She says, where are they, Kevin? Yeah, good fucking question. Where are they? Greg, Michael, and Megan thought these people would come to their aid. Obama not only, they put her in a holding cell, 50-something degrees, that's set up to hold in Georgia for 3 weeks. They held her there for a year and a half. Almost killed her. 85-year-old nun. Peace activist. This is Obama. This is Obama. Greg and Michael got the fuck beat out of them. Thank God they're out. And it was our work that got them out. Do not kid yourself. Thank you to those two judges. They overruled in the appellate court 2-1. Thank goodness. This is Obama, the nuclear puppet that he is. So he doesn't even know that he's going to be responsible for the murder of the Pacific Ocean, the Great Pacific Genocide. The Pacific Ocean's in total collapse, and everybody's in denial about the greatest event in human history. Fukushima's been able to go on. You talk to Obama, he won't even know what you're talking about. You say, well, Fukushima, they've just been pushing it into the Pacific Ocean. It blew up. The spent fuel pools, all of it. Multiple reactors blew up. Probably dozens of reactors blew up all over Japan. We just happen to have freaking live cams on that one. It blew up. I'm the guy that exposed, and we caught it, Janice Saxon in my cell, when it blew up again on May 12th. 2014? How about when it blew up in July or June 14th, 2011? I'm the guy that captured all that, and that Hawaii blog. You know, we just got lucky on the live cam. Well, you can physically see it blow up again. So if you talk to him, he'd say, "What are you talking about, huh? Well, I've got that under control." This is how disconnected. This guy doesn't do anything. He sits around watching Sports Center. He's enamored with freaking celebrities, him and Jay-Z and the whole group of them. He's going to be the next celebrity. That's all he thinks about. He's already said it. He's going to go through the Clinton post presidency. So I want to ask everybody, what the fuck has this guy done? Besides, every promise that he made, he never kept any of them. Not a fucking one. Status quo. Look at the military-industrialized complex. He was supposed to be an anti-war. Everybody says, "Oh, he didn't start a war." The fuck he didn't. Fucking full-blown out war in the Ukraine. You know how many people he's fucking droned to death? You know how many whistleblowers he's killed? You know how many fucking activists he's murdered? They say this sicko fucking sits around and makes the call when they fucking drone. When they drone these people, they don't just drone some fucking guy they think. They drone their families, little kids, fucking whole neighborhoods. This is the freak. Abused fucking child. Sits around, smokes cigarettes, and fucking watch. I mean, he's an idiot. He doesn't have a clue about Fukushima. This guy, if you sit and had a talk about nuclear Fukushima, he wouldn't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Well, he'd say, "Well, I thought they had that. John Holden told me they had that handled." What? Huh? Well, what about the Navy told him to send it? Well, John Holden told me to do that. What? Huh? I thought they had that. Oh, I stood at Hiroshima because Caroline threatened me. Huh? I finally got it, and by the way, Susan Rice is no dummy. She's a genius. What's she up to? They say that Caroline and Susan Rice got together on this thing. Long overdue at Hiroshima? Fucking A, long overdue. They didn't need to drop those fucking bombs. And anybody who says, "Oh, yeah, we need to bomb, let's glass the Middle East, let's fucking nuke Russia, let's make you fucking morons, let's dive into this." How come the emperor did everything? The royal family, he used to ride around Hirohito on his horse, hit those guys in the back of the head at the prisons, the American GIs, baton death marches, fucking what they did to the Koreans, what they did to the Chinese, what they did to the Philippines, evil. Had nothing to do with Japanese people. Japanese people are a monarchy, new world order, yeah. That's what Savage and Bill Hicks and all of them will call it because they were paid to call it that. It's old. Take your mind off fucking history. That the United States fought against royal system so we can become a royal system. We're a monarchy here now. They got the monarchy. This is their military fucking colony, and the fucking military fucking corporate oligarch fucking mercenaries called the United States military because they got to have a job. And these high brass get up there in their fucking hairspray and fucking just slaughter fucking people. White phosphorus on their own Marines at fucking Fallujah. What's that? Depleted uranium, nuclear waste. Kill their own fucking... They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. These fucking hairsprayed masquerade party pieces of fucking shit. And Obama doesn't even know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, shadow government, I mean, fuck. The military is so out of control. So out of control with the greed of fucking General Electric, the greed of Westinghouse, the greed of these corporate fucking whores. Fucking Steve Jobs is dead. His wife. I mean, all of them. Bill fucking Gates and his shitty ass fucking CIA software. I mean, these are pieces of shit. Scum, corporate board members who all fucking, most of them reign in fucking England, in the old royal fucking House of Windsor. Look up the news test. The British invasion. I don't need the Beatles. One by two by jet stream. Fukushima, the greatest catastrophe in human history, and Obama doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know it. And I know people that know Caroline. Now, I'll tell you how I know people. Through my daughter in Manhattan and through all my work over the years in Manhattan, I've got to know Democracy Now!'s people. They're producers. They're friends. I'm friends with them. She's friends with Caroline. Close friends. Caroline knows a lot of these people. Caroline hates Obama. Caroline is a true anti-nerd. And you want to think somebody that's paid the price? Oh, you don't think she's paid the price? See, her dad murdered. Her mother died of cancer young. How about her brother? I mean, by the way, her son looks just like JFK. Exactly. Where did she introduce him to the world? At Fukushima, Japan. Now, you go back and read the statement on the 50th anniversary of the funeral of her father. You can't pick this up, the ironies. And he made a statement, look, John Kennedy was the most anti-nuclear activist in the history of mankind, and maybe Gorbachev. Gorbachev's still alive. You ought to hear him go off about the Ukraine. You hear everybody's in denial. Everybody has to stand down to this military-industrial beast. Obama has no clue. You could have a conversation about Obama about fucking Fukushima, he'd say, well, I defer, here, Talk to Holden. They got that all handled. I just go on what they say. He doesn't have a clue. He doesn't know the Pacific Ocean's dying. He doesn't have a clue. He's in a fucking moron bubble. Just looking at his money's going to be like Bill Clinton. How did the Clintons parlay public service into a $2 billion? That's an article written by the New York Times and the Washington Post, which is much more than $2 billion. Look at his freaking looting and stealing. Now we all know what Hillary is from the beginning. You know what's crazy? Because Hillary's from Pennsylvania. What about 3 Mile Island? You know, I always had a little bit of hope for her because of 3 Mile Island. She's so pro-nuclear. Hillary West, and she stands in the Czech Republic. There's a leaking reactor at the Czech Republic. I was at it a year ago right now. She stands there and threatens the president in public. And this is Secretary of State uses the word Westinghouse. Well, Westinghouse isn't the government. They're a private company, right? They got bought by Toshiba. I was in Geneva. You go right on Geneva, the Swiss bank accounts right on the river. The biggest marquee now is Toshiba. I mean, Fukushima should have been the end of Toshiba. Fukushima should have been the end of Westinghouse, General Electric, all of it. So what is Janet doing in San Diego, the USS Reagan case? What is she doing? She ruled in 2014. So now they said that they've ruled a motion. TEPCO has filed a motion to have it dismissed again. They filed the exact same motion that's already been dismissed. So she's on the take, probably threatened. Patriot Act. So even when we get a ruling, heads they win, tails they win. They've got the judicial captured. Look, Alito and Roberts' ideologues. It's like Mike Lee here. His brother's on Utah Supreme Court. Totally CIA. Totally 100. BYU law is totally CIA. 100%. Karl Rove, totally CIA. And everybody says, oh, Karl Rove, the genius who won all these. Karl Rove single-handedly made it to where no so-called Republican can ever win the White House. He never won an election. Bush never won either election. Bush did not win. Now, remember they had all the independent councils fucking, including the League of Women Voters, all counting the vote? When was it due out? What? September 2001? September what? 20th, 2001? What? New York Times comes right up and says, well, we didn't think it was in good taste to print that Gore won. All 7 and Alfonso CIA rat himself. I mean, look at what that piece of shit evolved into. How about his narrative he was paid? By the way, attempted to rape 2 massage therapists, and Gavin backs off, lieutenant governor in California. He backs off. You know, because they're all celebrity politicians. Jerry Brown, who backs off. Jerry Brown yells skull and bones. The judge who threw out the email case that the other ruled that we get to see in the collusion of San Onofre was his roommate at Yale Law. Celebrity politicians, all roads trace to nuclearism. Cal Berkeley, Rockefeller babies, Rosemary's baby, Russell's baby. It's outrageous how they fucking played this place, and they've got a network television. Maybe Russell's 1980. If the czars had network television, they would still be in power. Kevin Blanch. The czars have network television. The czars are back. The monarchy is back. The feudalism system, it's never been so freaking pyramided up, even in the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th century in Europe. Never. Never has it been this strong. The redistribution of wealth to the so-called 1/10 of 1,000th of 1%, the monarchy, has never been so stark as it's been the last 30 years. You know, Trump talks a big game, and he talks the right rhetoric economically. Our sister, when I was at Weber here, our sister school was his school. You know, they're protectionists, Hamilton. Tariffs. He talks tariffs, yet he doesn't practice them. He talks illegal immigration, yet he doesn't practice it. His hotels are plumb full of them being paid cash. Illegally, by the way. Everybody says, oh, it's legal. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. The United States population. And the IRS could clean this up any time they wanted. Why don't they? Because we see who they are. Everybody goes along. Everybody's willing to work 65 hours a week and pop pills and fucking die young. Cancer is going to kill everyone now. Fukushima. Stand tuned. We'll continue this conversation on Thursday. Stand tuned. Eat your dogma burgers. Eat up.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. One day